host of the Gridiron.
Is Saquon Barkley really that good? Well, as I said this before. I said this, yeah and no. So, I gotta, obviously, of course, you see him jumping over people and you give him obviously you give him a hole and he's got the moves and all that stuff and everything like that. It's, of course, it's like he seems like he's like, with the Giants, he wasn't too bad. He's all right guy. With the Eagles, of course, he's like, this guy could be the greatest running back of all time. Oh my God, But I'm saying, is he really with the Eagles? Is he really? Everybody's like, yeah, and no. So I'm going to bring up the argument for the no, because I hate the Eagles. I hate the Eagles. Hope you get my point. So, let's see where we at here. So this is one of the reasons why the Eagles are like so good. All the Eagle fans are like, okay, thank you, Giant. Chant was terrible. Yeah. I can't. I said I got two rules in my house as far as football. First rule is the Giants win the Super Bowl. That's happening. So then we go to rule number two. Rule number two is anybody but Philadelphia. Anybody but Philadelphia. Can't stand them. Fuck, hate them. Because I live in South Jersey, so I'm about 20 minutes from Philadelphia. So there's nothing but Eagle fans down here. And you know what? The thing is, I'm not saying they're all douches. I'm certainly not saying that, but there's a decent amount of them that just, they're just so rude and obnoxious and all that stuff and everything. I just can't stand them. I absolutely can't stand them. But there's a reason why. The Eagles are like, okay, if it's Chiefs and Eagles, I'm not watching it either. Nah, I'm getting sick and tired of the Chiefs. But I still want the Chiefs over the Eagles because I can't stand the Eagles. I'm really getting sick and tired of watching. It's almost to the point where it's like with with Tom Brady. It's the Patriots versus whoever. I'm like, I just can't stand it. I hate it. And that's the way it's getting with the Chiefs now. I just can't stand it. Absolutely can't stand it. Hopefully the Buffalo Bills beat them this week. I hope that happens. I hope they put their first win on them. But anyway. But no, you're right. I probably won't watch it either. But I still want the Chiefs to win now because I hate the Eagles. But the thing is that you get, it's like, oh man, the Eagles. Every year they seem to have a really good roster. Every year, it's like, why don't we get that? Why can't we have two number one wide receivers and we pay our quarterback? They paid our quarterback like $50 million, and they're paying Saquon $13-14 a year. Actually, they were paying Kelsey. I forgot what they were paying Kelsey, and then he retired. But then they're paying Lane Johnson, like their right tackle, like $20-25 million a year. So it's like, you start adding this up. It's like, man, they're paying like $350 million a year for their offense. It's like, wow, they're paying their offense $350 million a year. The salary cap's only $250. Well, what's and they still have like $10 or $11 million in salary cap space. This is just their offense. It's like, how's that happening? How can they pay 11 guys $7.9 trillion in a year? The salary cap's only $250, and they still got $10, $11 million in salary cap. How's that working? We got like nobody. We have like 55 cents left in salary cap. What's going on there? How come we can't afford anybody? And they just keep bringing in people. What's going on? There's a reason. They were facing the Chiefs down there. I'll take the. I can't. sometimes I just can't. Some of the games I can't stand. I just can't watch. I just just turns me off so much. But we got this here. It says that somebody wrote an article here. Who's this? Mike Moratis, maybe? It says an NFL analyst says the Philadelphia Eagles have a brutal salary cap future. Because what it is the Eagles, what the Eagles are doing right now is they're all the chips are they're pushing all the chips in the middle of the table. It's this their Super Bowl run right here, and all the chips are in the middle of the table, and they're bringing in all these guys. Basically, they don't have a salary cap. It's basically unlimited. There is no salary cap in Philadelphia. What they're doing is just bringing in everybody, whatever they can bring in. What do you want? You want $800 trillion a year? We got you, brother. What do you want? $4 billion a year? We got you, bro. Come on in, bro. We got you. We'll fit you under the salary cap. So what it is they're paying them like 55 cents this year, but they're pushing all the money down the road. Like all these guys have like tons of void years on the end of their contracts and everything. Jalen Hurts is do I have him up here? Did I keep it up here? Did it? Oh, where are we at here? Jalen Hurts. Here we go. Jalen Hurts' salary cap number. Now, whether he gets it or not, I don't know. But as of right now, his salary cap hit in 2029. 2029? Yeah, 2029. $97.5 million. They owe Jalen Hurts almost $100 million in 2029. His contract's over with by then. But they owe him $100 million in 2029. I said, how they're gonna how he's gonna work that and figure that out and configure those numbers and all that stuff. I'm sure he'll do something. But the cap is eventually going to catch up to them. Yep. If they don't win, yep. Oh yeah. And I really hope that happens. They got a couple of years left because. If you look at it, no. You look at what they got, right? I mean, they signed. They got Jalen Hurts is paying like $50 million a year. Saquon's about $13 million a year. Brown is about $25 million a year. So what's that? 68, 88, and Devontae Smith, whatever it is. So between those four guys, they're paying them about $100 million a year. For those four guys. This year, their cap space, Jalen Hurts is making $13 million. Let me see. Devontae Smith's making $8 million, so that's $21 million. Brown is at $12 million, so that's $33 million. And what's Saquon making? Saquon's at $4 million. So they're paying those guys like $37 million this year. They're paying $37 million. That's what they're hitting the cap. The books cap, $37 million. Between the four of them, they're making about $100 million a year. So they're only paying them $37. So somewhere along the line, you got to pay the piper. Once again, all the money's getting pushed down the road. So let's see. The Philadelphia Eagles have the most future salary cap debt in National Football League, and it isn't even clear. They have like $300 or $400 million in cap space money pushed down the road. As general manager, Howie Roseman continues to try and build a winner in the short term. According to NFL analyst Chris Kouffman, I think it is, Philly is over $300 million in future salary cap debt. Over $300 million, which is money that the team has already paid out but hasn't added to the books yet in terms of the salary cap. To get an idea of just how much that is, it's well north of 2024 salary cap figure of $255 million by itself. No other team in the NFL is over $300 million like the Eagles are. And the next closest team, the Saints, has around $40 million less in the future debt. And the Saints have been horrible with their debt, their cap space for the longest time. And they're paying the piper for it now because they suck. They straight up suck. Helping the Eagles absorb this money down the road is the fact that the salary cap routinely goes up a significant amount each year. After going down to 182 million in 2021 because of COVID, the NFL salary cap rose almost 26 million in 2022, 16.6 million in 2023, and then a whopping 30.6 million in 2024. Even still, that regular increase won't be enough to absorb all the money that the Eagles will be on the hook for in the next handful of years. So Roseman will have to get creative to avoid impacting his ability to spend. The good news is the Eagles general manager has proven time and time again that he can get creative to make things work, which is why Philly has that total in the first place. This is what going for now looks like, and taking that route can make things very difficult in the years ahead. However, none of that will really matter if the Eagles can deliver on the Super Bowl window the team is currently in. So, I mean, the one thing is like what happened like with the Rams a couple of years ago, right? When they, the Rams, they obviously won the Super Bowl. They had Odell Beckham Jr. They had, they had, they were high in salary cap space. I think they traded away some of their picks. They're bringing all these guys. They all the chips in the middle of the table. Let's see if we can win a Super Bowl. Good for them. They won a Super Bowl. The good thing was that they wound up beating Eli Apple. So that did this whole heart good. Love it. But they pushed all the chips in the middle of the table, and they won a Super Bowl. Now they're taking a step backwards, right? But I mean, the thing is, my point is that with the Eagles, I mean, they keep bringing in all these guys, and it's like, oh, how that's so good. Every year the Eagles say, wow, that is so good. There's a reason why. They're just pushing all the money, down the road. So I mean, so there's not many teams out there who can pay a $50 million quarterback, have two number one wide receivers, and like maybe the best running back. There's no teams out there like that. Nope. And they have quite possibly the best right tackle in football. I don't think the guy's given up a pressure, Lane Johnson. I don't think he's given up a pressure since I think George Washington was in office last time. I mean, the guy is just unbelievable. You know what I mean? But I'm saying, but between like those guys, he's paying them, like those five guys, like about probably $125 million. And they're only paying them like maybe 50 million toward the cap. So the other 70 is pushed down the road, right? So somewhere along the line, he's got to pay the piper. But I mean, so my point is like with Saquon, is he that? Of course he's that good, But I mean, you also got to realize too, it's the theory, everything's relative, right? You put a bunch of good guys on the field. You put Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown out there, right? Some teams can afford that, but then maybe look at the 49ers, right? They got Deebo Samuel, they got Kittle, they got McCaffrey, they got Ayuk, but they're paying Josh Purdy $42 a year, right? Once Purdy's going to want maybe 40, if they're going to keep him and all that, right? Once he's going to want 40 or 50, right? Well, you might have to say bye-bye to some of these guys, right? Now with the Eagles, don't matter with the Eagles. There's no salary cap space, so they can keep bringing guys in, right? So that's one of the reasons why, if Saquon was still on the Giants, right, the defense could, concentrate more on him because, they don't have two number one wide receivers out there like the Eagles do, right? They have, Lane Johnson is phenomenal, They have a great offensive line. They can pay almost anything they want. I mean, they had Kelsey there, right? They're paying him some good money. So my point is that, of course he's that good, but there's a reason why. As I said, because the Eagles can keep bringing the guys. And I said they still have, all these guys, where are we at here? They have, according to Spot Track, they still have almost $11 million in salary cap space, which is just, dead cap. They got 61 million in dead cap this year. Let's see here. 61 for 2025. That's in dead cap space. Let's see here. Let's try this here. 2026. What is it? No cap space. So it doesn't. I'd have to look. I'd have to click on each guy individually But I mean, I said Jalen Hurts. Now, let's see where we are there. You know, all these guys have, you know, let's see, Lane Johnson, their right tackle. I'll just go over the 5 guys. Lane Johnson. He has 3 void years added on to the end of his contract. He's owed $11 million, $7 million, and 3. So he's owed like 21, 22, 23 million, which is basically like 1 year's salary, but it's 3 void years added on the end of his contract. Right? That's one of the reasons why they can afford him. Just nothing but void years. Then we'll go to Jalen Hurts. I think he has 4 void years on the end of his contract, which means, yeah, once his contract's up, he's on the books for 4 more years. $97.5 million, 29, almost 30 million, 20 million, and then 10 million. So it's 100, 130, 140, 150, about 155, 156, $57 million. Once his contract is up, he's still on the books for $157 million for 4 years. Yeah. So once again, so Lane Johnson, the right tackle, is 3 void years. Jalen Hurts is 4. You know, Shane ain't doing this stuff, right? A lot of these other GMs ain't doing this stuff because they don't want to screw up the salary cap, right? A.J. Brown. Let me go over A.J. Brown. How many void years he has on the end of his contract? He has 4. 4 void years. In 2030, he has a void year, and his cap hit is $53 million. $53 million they still owe him. Once again, that's the only reason why they can afford him, pushing all this money down the road. Let's see, where we are there? Devontae Smith. All right, where are we guys? Yeah, he has 4 void years. Once again, they owe him 13 million, 10.5, 8, and then 4 in his void years. It's 4 void years on the end of his contract. Meaning once his contract's up, he might be gone from the team, but he still has money that the Eagles owe. And then of course Saquon Barkley. It's the same thing with him. They're paying him 13 or 14 million a year. He only goes 3.8 million toward the cap this year. Right? So once again, Saquon Barkley. Yeah, Saquon will pay you. What do you want? 50 million a year? Sure, brother, we got you. Once again, Saquon has 4 void years on the end of his contract. They owe him 19.3 his first year after 2027. He has a 3-year contract. Basically, almost his whole salary is toward the end. They pay him 3.8, 5.5, and 9 his first 3 years. This next 4 years, his cap hit is, let's see, what do we got? 19.3, 6.5, 4.1, and 2.1. So the reason why the Eagles are this good every year, once again, is because they bring in all these guys. There's no salary cap space, and they just bring them all, and they just put all these void years on the end. That should be it. It is. It really should be. I mean, there should only be so much you can do. You know, if you want to do a little something, sure. You know what I mean? But, you know, it should be. Really. I mean, you're only allowed 100 million or something like that. If you want to do a little something, go right ahead. Yeah. But, I mean, that's ridiculous. It really is. But, I mean, it's like, you know, man, the Eagles are so good. Damn, why can't we be that good? You know, well, there's a reason why. And as I said, that's because most GMs don't want to do stuff like that. Right? And I said, Howie's, you know, he's in that Super Bowl, you know, right now. You know, that Super Bowl time frame. And, you know, he just keeps, you know, pushing the chips in the middle of the table, pushing more money down the road. So that's how when you know, as I said, because when you got 2 really good wide receivers, that kind of opens stuff up. Right? Open stuff up. So that makes stuff open up in the middle even a little bit more for Saquon, right? When we have no wide receivers, right? And they could put when Saquon is with the Giants and the defense can put 815 guys in the box, doesn't open stuff up for Saquon much, does it? Right? Makes it a little more difficult for him. But when he has these 2 phenomenal wide receivers, the great tackle there, right? I mean, Jalen Hurts can basically get back in the pocket. He can turn and he can look this way, with the right tackle, he could stare over there for 9.5 lifetimes. Nobody's going to hit him from behind because he's got Lane Johnson there. Nobody's going to touch him, right? But when you got Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown run, that opens stuff up, right? And then opens stuff in the middle for Saquon. Makes him look a little bit better, right? So yeah, Saquon, of course he is. But let's back off on it. There's a reason why, right? And I said nothing would do this heart better, right, than to see the Eagles. You know, if they win the division, God bless them or whatever like that. But as long as somewhere along the line they lose to somebody, that'll do this old heart good. Because, I mean, I said every year that goes by and the Eagles don't win the Super Bowl, they keep pushing more and more money down. Their cap space is going to be, as you know what I mean? So I hate them.